There's a moment most people never notice. Not when the addiction starts. Not when it grows. But when it quietly becomes who you are. It doesn't arrive like a storm. It slips in like a whisper. Just one scroll. One video. One excuse, I'll stop tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. Because what you're fighting isn't the habit. It's something deeper. Something ancient. For thousands of years, humans believed addiction was a moral failure. A lack of discipline. A weakness of character. But modern science tells a different story. Your brain is not broken. It's adapting. Every time you repeat a behavior, whether it's watching, eating, escaping, or avoiding, your brain is learning one simple rule. This reduces pain. Do it again. And slowly, silently, a loop is formed. Cue, craving, response, reward. Again. And again. And again. Until one day, you're no longer choosing. You're reacting. But here's the truth that almost nobody tells you. You are not addicted to the thing. You are addicted to the escape it provides. The phone isn't the problem. The craving to disconnect from your reality is. The substance isn't the problem. The need to numb something inside you is. And that's why willpower fails. Because you're not just removing a habit. You're removing your only coping mechanism. So people try to quit. Day 1, motivation. Day 2, struggle. Day 3, collapse. And then comes the most dangerous part. Guilt. Because now, it's not just the addiction. It's the belief that you are weak. But what if everything you've been told is wrong? What if your addiction is actually a clue? A signal. Pointing to something deeper. Something unresolved. Something you've been avoiding for years. Because the real prison was never the habit. It was the pain you never learned how to face. And until you understand that, you won't restart your life. You'll just restart the cycle. There's something strange about the human mind. It will do anything to protect you from pain. Even if that protection slowly destroys your life. Think about it. Every addiction follows the same invisible pattern. Not pleasure. Not happiness. But escape. A bad day becomes a trigger. Silence becomes uncomfortable. Your own thoughts become unbearable. And in that moment, your brain offers a deal. Do this, and you won't have to feel that. It feels like relief. But it's not. It's a trade. Short-term comfort, in exchange for long-term control. And the more you accept that deal, the stronger the loop becomes. This is where most people get it wrong. They try to fight the behavior. They delete the app. They throw away the substance. They make promises at 2 a.m. But they never address the source code. The emotion underneath the urge. Here's what top performers, psychologists, and elite thinkers understand. An urge is not a command. It's a message. A signal that something inside you needs attention. But instead of listening, you've trained yourself to silence it. Again. And again. And again. So the urge gets louder. Not because you're weak. But because you're not listening. There's a concept in neuroscience called urge surfing. It sounds simple. Almost stupid. But it's one of the most powerful skills you can learn. Instead of reacting, you observe. Instead of escaping, you sit with it. You watch the craving rise, peak, and fall. Like a wave. Because here's the truth. No urge lasts forever. Most fade within minutes. But almost nobody waits long enough to see that. And in that small window, that 5 to 10 minute battle, your entire future is decided. Not by motivation. Not by goals. But by your ability to stay. Stay with the discomfort. Stay with the silence. Stay with yourself. Because the moment you stop running, something unexpected happens. You begin to see clearly. The patterns. The triggers. The reasons. And for the first time, you're not inside the loop. You're watching it. That's the moment control begins. Not when the addiction disappears, but when it loses its power over you. And once you reach that point, you're ready for something most people never experience. A complete reset. Not just of habits, but of identity. There comes a moment. After the awareness. After the struggle. After you've finally seen the pattern for what it is. When you realize something powerful. You don't need to fix your life. You need to rebuild it. Because here's the truth most people never understand. You cannot live a new life with an old identity. For years, you've been running a script. I'm lazy. I have no discipline. I always fail. And whether you realize it or not, you've been acting it out perfectly. But identity works both ways. If you believe you're weak, you will find proof. If you believe you're in control, you will create evidence. The top 0.1% don't rely on motivation. They engineer identity. They don't say, I'm trying to quit. They say, I don't do that anymore. Simple shift. Massive consequence. Because your brain has one job. To stay consistent with who you believe you are. So instead of fighting urges all day, you change the rules of the game. You build what experts call non-negotiable systems. Not goals. Not wishes. Systems. Wake up, same time. Move your body, every day. Remove triggers, completely. Replace the habit, intentionally. Not when you feel like it. But because that's who you are now. This is where most people hesitate. Because it feels extreme. But transformation is extreme. There is no middle ground between who you were and who you're becoming. You will feel resistance. Your mind will whisper, this isn't you. And for a while, it's right. It's not the old you. But if you persist, something incredible happens. The new actions become familiar. The discomfort becomes normal. The discipline becomes automatic. And one day, without warning, you wake up and realize you're not fighting anymore. The cravings are weaker. The control is stronger. The identity has shifted. This is the real restart. Not a dramatic moment. Not a perfect streak. But a quiet transformation. Where the person you used to be no longer exists. And the most powerful part. Once you master this process, you can apply it to anything. Health. Wealth. Focus. Purpose. Because the same mind that trapped you in the loop can also set you free. This isn't motivation. This is control. And now, you don't just quit the addiction. You become someone who was never controlled by it in the first place.